This morning when we were at breakfast, the police chief was there and a district attorney. I wanted to gag listening to the police chief. In my case, a homicide detective who has a long history of fabricating evidence against people. That's what happened to me. He concocted a confession, and that's what my conviction hung on. But a wrongful conviction starts with the police, and then it goes to a prosecutor, and then it escalates. But that's where it starts, is with the police. And this morning I really wanted to get up and just go and scream in that man's face. You know, because if the police act right, this stuff wouldn't happen. And then the prosecutors, and I've learned over the years, I don't paint all prosecutors with the same brush, or all police, because I'm sure there are some that are decent. But in order for this not to happen, somebody has to do the right thing in the beginning, and that starts with the police, because that's where a case comes from, is with the police. And I appreciate the lawyers and the students and everybody, but I think it would be kind of interesting to speak and have the police hear us, or prosecutors hear us.
I'm okay with speaking. I've done a lot of it in the years since I've been released, but something I don't say that I thought of now is that you always feel vulnerable forever. There's always the chance that, I don't know, maybe somehow they'll find some reason to take you back, you think, somehow, because they're mad that you got out and you exposed what they did. So that's always somehow there, whether people admit it or not. I think it's always there. And also there's this thing where you're always subject to someone coming up and saying, well, I don't think you really were innocent, you know, because there was this and this and this, and that can happen. It happened to me recently, where this woman came, this is horrible, this woman came to my door with an armload of roses, and she said that she had been a witness at Jesse's execution, and she needed to speak to me. And it had haunted her for years, and I invited her in, of course, and we sat at my kitchen table, and we talked, and I said, listen, whatever you need to say to me, you go ahead and do it. And she said, yeah, but it could be pretty horrible. I could describe it moment by moment. I said, no, I don't need to hear that, if you really don't need to tell me. And then it turned out at the end of an entire day, a friend of mine looked up her name and rang me back and said, she was at his execution, but she's an investigator. She's a private investigator, and she's not telling you the whole truth. Sure enough, I finally said, you know, I looked up something last night online, because she said she wanted to write a book about her experience. I said, and I always like people who have written something to read it to me themselves, because then I know exactly how they meant it to be read. So would you mind reading me that article you wrote about the play The Exonerated, which was about people who were wrongly convicted, where she trashed the whole thing, especially me. Oh, she said, well, that was a long time ago, and I've learned things since then. I said, well, really, tell me then. What have you learned since then that should, you know, because you wrote this terrible article. Anyway, she was exposed. She then admitted that she was doing some sort of legal research, although I still don't know why. About a month later, she showed up in Australia at my son's sword fighting practice. He does sword fighting. and ambush him and started asking him questions. Now, he was 9 when this happened, so he was horrified. He felt so afraid that she was going to try to make it look like maybe he was the guilty party. I mean, it was horrendous. Then I had to warn my daughter, who was only a baby when everything happened, that this woman might be coming to see her. It was absolutely horrendous. So it really never ends. But I want to, the other side of it is I once blurted out that, oh, your past is like your butt. I have to say bum in Europe, but your past is like your butt. It follows you around wherever you go. You can never get away from it. You know, it's always there. But the trick is to learn to sit on it comfortably. There was something else I didn't want to forget to say. Oh, I know. So many of us become activists because you need to give back. It's not just the need. It's you have to. You have to, because we know how it is. And Peter, my husband now, Peter and I have started something called the Sunny Center, which I'd all like you to hear more about on Saturday. But anyway, what we do is we advise young activists. Every year we're asked to talk to this class for activists, and we tell them that you have to do everything you can, of course, to make this a better world and to help right the wrongs and the injustices. But in the end of the day, and this is, I wanted to say to all of us, because this is something I learned, and again I blurted out one day, but when it all is said and done, every day, and you say to yourself, is there anything more I could do like today to make things better? No. Okay, then enjoy your life. Go and plant your garden. Listen to beautiful music. Take somebody else's kid to the playground, because we're all too old now to have the little kids. You know, I mean, something that fills you up. That's the thing, because that hole will always be there. But, you know, like your wedding ring is a hole, but it's a circle. So this is the circle that is around the hole, and you can fill that hole with things that make you happy. Just have to find them. So this is a good start. I'm so happy. So happy you're all here.
We have about 5 minutes
Well, we'll
left.
keep going.
And Julie, would you come join us?
There's a chair.
Oh, I'm fine, I'll just leave. Hello, everyone. I'm Julie Balmer. I was exonerated in 2010. I spent 4.5 years for child abuse. Turned out my nephew suffered from venous stroke, venous sinus thrombosis, so there was actually no crime committed. And of course, this is a wonderful conference and wonderful opportunity, and a lot of new faces here this year with the women, so
Yeah.
looking forward to talking more with you guys. Thank you.
I think I lost track of what we were talking about, but
What you need,
I think the biggest thing I need, and I think it's true for most of us, is we need more time with each other.
Yeah.
We're scattered, and I know that there have been a number of times that it's not just the women exonerees, but my brother Juan, and those are the people when I'm broken and I can't show anybody else what's wrong or where I'm at. Those are the people that get it, and I don't have to hide and I don't have to sugarcoat it. can just be. And when I'm at this conference, we all get to just be, and you don't have to explain it away. And everybody understands that we didn't automatically know how to use cell phones.
Still no.
It's like that comfortable pair of tennis shoes that you never want to throw away, because in that moment, you're okay. And the mark isn't on you, and the shame isn't there, and you know that everybody is coming from the same place. So we need more of that.
Yes.
I just have one word, healing. We just need more healing.
I tend to repeat myself endlessly, and I believe that's because everything that comes out of my mouth is usually a pearl of wisdom. But this one thing I say a lot is nobody will ever get us like we get each other, and we need to just remember to treat ourselves and each other as kindly as we can. That's it.
One good thing I can say is the needs that we do need. We got a chance to go to Washington, D.C. to talk to the DOJ. We told them that we should be a part of the Second Chance Act, because everything in the Second Chance Act, it helps us. It's about us. We also asked to be part of the victims of crime, because we were victims as well as being, and we had a good opportunity. Me and Deborah and a lot of others went. Daryl Hunt was with us, God rest his soul, and they listened, and that part made me feel good. Deborah got a letter. Tell them about the letter that you got.
I can't remember it verbatim, but I got a letter this past Monday from the Justice Department thanking me for coming there and sharing. What did we shared a lot.
We shared a lot.
They wanted to know what
we need.
What we needed
Yeah.
when we when we're kicked out of prison. And well, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're right, and they were looking for remedies.
Yeah.
And so we shared a whole bunch of ideas. And right now, Obama's a lame duck because it's an election year, so the Justice Department would like to continue with justice reform. And we've been invited back.
Yeah.
And hopefully this new administration won't try and undo what the Justice Department is already starting.
Yeah, that's right.
But it was a very nice letter. What was really nice is that I felt like we were heard. And I got that feeling, and also to be invited back.
That's right. It was good. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Oh, what do I need? I need my voice back. I think what I need the most, what we need, extends beyond people that are innocent. I think that criminal justice system needs to quit dehumanizing people, period, whether they're innocent or not innocent. Because that is what causes the void between being able to be heard and be listened to. There is a story no matter what, and the only way that criminal justice reform can happen is all around, all the way around. So
That's right.
saying something.
Any quick questions from the audience?
There's one back.
It's a pretty general question, but for those of us who have email clients in prison right now, how can we support them through what will inevitably be process if we're hopefully lucky, and then I guess more emotionally as opposed to the legal work, just what can we do?
Just one thought. There are women here who do understand, and someone can correspond with your clients. Doesn't have to be every day, and no one's going to give anybody false hopes. We all know that you can't trust what's going on. You can't trust the process. It's not that you're working hard on it, but you don't know how it's going to come out. But to have contact with someone who does understand. I did this with Julie Ray and Rob Orton, I think it was, or Steve Drizzen, I can't remember, asked me to it. And then you kind of have a friend outside that understands. That's one thing that can help. Even funding, you know, just doing something kind and helpful again, so that there's the support. And maybe someone else has another idea, but.
I think we're all afraid of being forgotten, or at least we were, and being overlooked. And so any of those ways that you can show that you are attentive and you're there, and other people are attentive and are there and care, and they're not just alone in this world, I think that helps. And yeah, I'd be totally happy to write somebody, so I don't know.
One way, during my incarceration, I learned that people like cards, mail, you know, pick up greeting cards and send them a letter. Give them a greeting card for the birthday or something. Let them know that they're not forgotten, because to be in that prison and nobody, I had a friend next to me, never got mail. And that could be a crushing thing, to know that no one cares, you know. So, I mean, just things, little things like that, I mean, it's good, because in our prison, sugar and cream was a good thing. I mean, that was good. I mean, that was like gold. So a card, just imagine what a card would do. Anybody?
I know one thing. My lawyer used to bring little lifesavers, you know? You can't always get that in, but he used to have lifesavers, and when we need, he'd give me lifesavers, and I thought that was great. It's really little things that make a big difference. He was a lifesaver.
I would like to thank everybody for joining us. Our next session at 4:15 is the families and the supporters of the exonerated. So please, if you can, join us. And if you have any questions, come on up.